Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has attributed Nigeria's current challenges to both the action of his leaders and followers' contributions. Similarly, Obasanjo urged Nigerians to remain hopeful and not lose faith as the new year begins despite the difficulties facing the country. He said this during a television program on Monday. Also, Obasanjo expressed confidence that Nigeria will soon assume its rightful position among nations, emphasizing that he remains a steadfast optimist about the country's future. Obasanjo also addressed the issue of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Previous remarks about Nigeria emphasizing the need for Nigeria to find a way to make Trump understand that the country is not what he described. He noted that America has an enlightened interest in Africa, pointing out that Nigeria needs to let Trump know that Nigeria is ready to work with the U.S., but made it clear that he must give Nigeria the respect and dignity that is due to the country. Presidential candidate of the new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, in the 2023 elections, Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, has dismissed speculations of a rotational presidency pact with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and a former Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Kwankwaso gave this clarification in an interview in Abuja on Monday. He explained that he has not had contact nor held discussions with either of the two politicians in recent times. Kwankwaso said he chose to remain politically neutral until the end of this year to allow government at all levels to concentrate on the task of governance without any form of distraction. He accused the main opposition, People's Democratic Party (PDP), of trying to use manipulative tactics to secure northern votes in future elections. The former Kano State governor explained that any future political arrangement must take into cognizance historical fact and must be put in context. The Nigerian Forum has continued to be an influential platform that brings researchers and policymakers together to engage in meaningful conversation about Nigeria's challenges and opportunities. Building on the success of the previous edition, the 2024 Nigerian Forum delved deeper into crucial issues and contribute to evidence-based policy making for the country's progress. Organized by Dr. Brian Reuben and the Assistant Council, an international think tank, the Nigerian Forum credibility stems from its commitment to promoting rigorous research, fostering intellectual discourse, and bridging the gap between academia, government, and other relevant stakeholders. The primary objective of the 2024 Nigerian Forum addressed the critical issues facing Nigeria's economy as the country's innovative tech sectors, dynamic young population, and rising global interest in its market offer the promising foundation. However, the nation must address pressing issues such as high inflation, unemployment, foreign exchange constraint, insecurity, unsustainable debt, and the lack of opportunities for its youth.
We need to begin to, resuscitate our agencies to be institutions and not men, if you know what I mean, because it seems like our institutions are now embedded in human beings and not as institutions, as strong institutions that they're supposed to be. So I sincerely believe that once we are able to, rework some of the key things that we need to do, then citizens can begin to trust that government knows what they're doing and they are leading us on the path to success and to growth. But without that, then we're still going to be standing in the same place.
There's a lot to it. I mean, in that people are poorer now. Children are coming to school without eating well, and many parents can no longer afford fees. So schools are also having difficulty getting fees, and they're losing enrollment and so on. So it's quite a difficult situation throughout. But again, it's possible to rise above all this and develop the resilience. And we just talked about a number of things, the use of deploy the power of technology, but remembering that not everybody has access. So it's not just saying, put things on devices, but seeing how communities can come together and solve the problems within the communities.
Around our growth in Nigeria and our business environment, how should organizations position so that they can continue to survive into the future and so that they can continue to grow in light of everything that is happening in our business environment. Now, so this is something that every business leader needs to be very deliberate about, because it is not business as usual. We need specific skills to be able to thrive in this kind of business environment. And this cuts across various areas, including innovation. We need to be innovative, including cost optimization, including leadership, including empathy even for the people that we're leading.
Businesses, both foreign and local, need predictability. However, policy inconsistency in Nigeria, especially in sectors like foreign exchange management and trade, has eroded investor confidence. Foreign direct investment inflow have dwindled, and many investors are adopting a wait-and-see approach due to the unpredictability of government decisions. Because there must be some level of predictability. Even though it is uncertain, these are uncertain times, and there are changes happening faster than you can imagine, yet, at the same time, these policies' inconsistency even worsen the situation.
Experts in town planning and climate change have blamed the failure to inculcate sustainable practices to combat climate change and its negative impact as a major cause of the lingering food crisis in Nigeria. This assertion came to the front burner in Lagos at the second Femi Olomola lecture with the theme Climate Change and Food Security in Nigeria, Challenges and Solutions by the Lagos State Chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners and the Association of Town Planning Consultants of Nigeria. The Executive Director of the Nigerian Stored Product Research Institute, NSPRI, Professor Latif Sani, made it clear that Nigeria's ever-growing population portends great danger for the country, while shortage of food was increasing. He made a case for the effect of climate change on plantation to harvesting and transportation of food crops as high temperature played a significant role in limited food security. The state chairman of NITP, Tayo Awomosu, and his counterpart at Atopkan, David Olawale, said Nigeria cannot afford not to inculcate sustainable practices to confront climate change and food insecurity.
Change. Either you are talking of political leader or you are talking of theory, it is in front of us, staring at us. It has implication on agricultural produce. When you are expecting to harvest your wet tomato to take to all these food basket joints that someone just created in Lagos, I must commend you. Before you transport okra from the farm in Igbesa down to Lagos, I'm telling you 30% of it is gone. Why? Because of high temperature.
Agriculture is done on land. So if we want to produce food, it will be done on land. But we also understand that the land that we have as a nation is limited. Our population is increasing and our land is not increasing. So what do you do when a resource is not sufficient? You plan it. So for Nigeria to be able to excel in food production, planners have to redesign, replan this nation so that there will be sufficient land for food, while there's sufficient land for grazing, and there's sufficient land for housing, and there's sufficient land for industry, and sufficient land for every other thing that we need. Without it, we cannot make a headway.
Like you said, it's not even a Nigerian thing, it's a global challenge, it's a global problem. And it's because we've neglected the role of planning or planners in our society. Most of the areas that are allocated and planned for agriculture, even urban agriculture, has been converted to residential. So what do we do? How do we go back to where we ought to be? That is, we have to embrace planning, look at the effect of the climate, and then look at the challenges posed by food insecurity that's leading to protests, that's leading to anarchy, that's leading to political instabilization across the globe.
The problem of food security, as we have heard from this lecture, is a very real one. And combined with the problem of climate change, we are in a crisis situation. Well, so far so good. The major we will have solved the problem is with planning. We should have adopted planning in Nigeria, but we haven't. We have a planning law that is not implemented. It should have been a national physical development plan that outlines where we could grow crops, where we could build settlements. Those kind of things, we didn't do them. We didn't implement the National Urban Physical Planning, Urban Regional Planning Law. And if we do that, we could redeem ourselves by doing it.
When you are talking of climate change and food security in the country, the theme for this year annual lecture is actually looking at what are the challenges and solutions. One thing that is key and which I want everybody to take away from this lecture is that you cannot associate climate change and food security from, you cannot dissociate it from urban and regional planning profession. It is only when we plan adequately that we can find solution to this problem.
The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, has announced an expansion of its nighttime traffic management and monitoring operations in the state ahead of the new year. The initiative targets high-traffic commercial zones including Lekki, Ajah, Ikoyi, Victoria Island, and other critical areas within the city, aiming to enhance road safety and ensure seamless vehicular movement during the holiday season. In a statement on Monday, LASMA Public Relations Officer Adebayo Taufik said the deployment is expected to address the increased vehicular activities associated with the festivities. The statement quoted the General Manager of LASMA, Olaleko Bakarioki, as saying that the strategic initiative was designed to ensure the uninterrupted flow of vehicular movement within the vital district, particularly during the holiday season and the subsequent periods of heightened traffic. Highlighting the sources of the ongoing operations, Bakarioki noted LASMA personnel had executed their duties with vigilance, successfully preventing disruptions and ensuring smooth transit along major thoroughfares. And now to Oyo State, where the Chairman, Southern Governors Forum and Governor of Ogo State, Dakpo Abiodun, has charged event planners and charity organizations to always work with the government while planning charity gestures for each free outing. Abiodun, who commiserated with Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde over the stampede at Islamic High School, Basharu, where over 30 persons were lost to the incident. The Ogo State Governor, while sympathizing with the bereaved in Oyo State, said event planners should work with the government to enable proper security and execution. Meanwhile, Oyo State Governor appreciated the visiting governor.
A further study of the document indicates that a new finance lease loan of 4.2 billion naira was obtained in 2023, just as the existing domestic debt of 705.6 million naira for the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has signed the 2025 Budget Tax Sustainable Growth and Transformation into law. Signing the budget at his office at Abere, Governor Adeleke emphasized the importance of the budget as a strategic tool for advancing his administration's 5-point agenda for good governance. The executive initially proposed a budget of 390 billion naira, but after rigorous deliberations by the House of Assembly, the final approved sum stood at 427.7 billion naira. It is the belief of the governor that the budget will be rigorously implemented to meet expectations and improve the state's socio-economic landscape.
I assure you that this budget will be vigorously implemented to deliver on your expectations. The Appropriation Act will be our faithful instrument to deliver on the 5-point agenda for good governance.
In another development, the Osun State chapter of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has expressed concerns over it regarded as the rising debt profile of the state under Governor Adeleke's administration. APC said it has reliable reports that the state has incurred a combined foreign loan of $51 million, equivalent to 81.6 billion, based on an exchange rate of 1,600 per dollar. The party warns that the increase in debt burden could lead the state into long-term financial instability if not managed transparently and strategically. Meanwhile, spokesperson to Osun State, Olawale Rashid, refuted the claims of the opposition party, stressing that the party is playing the role of the opposition party. He noted that the governor wouldn't be distracted with insinuation of the opposition from performing its constitutional roles.
Further study of the document indicates that a new finance lease loan of 4.2 billion naira was obtained in 2023, just as the existing domestic debt of 705.6 million naira for the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security went to 2.9 billion naira.
If you are a man, you have 1 billion naira, and you start to spend it 50,000 naira per day, you will spend it for 53 years. But your governor and his KAU are spending 18 billion naira in a year of your money.
The Executive Council from the beginning, and I want to tell you, there has never been any memo seeking approval for any loan for any project in Osun. That is a fake news. They've been peddling the news and we've been debunking it. But the lucky thing for us is that Osun people are highly educated and they know when a state government wants to take a loan, the normal channel is to put up a memo, take it to the council, and we've never had anything like that.
Still in the Southwest, Ekiti State Governor Biodu Oyebanji has signed 2025 appropriation bill of 375 billion 790 million 77,618 naira 15 kobo into law. Oyebanji will christen the 2025 budget as the budget of sustainable impact, with 51% for recurrent expenditure, 49% for capital expenditure, saying the budget will soon be presented to the public. The governor said the revenue target would be a standard for the full implementation of all programs, policies and projects outlined in the budget. Also promised to strengthen relationships with development partners to rally support for specific projects in Ekiti State. Also speaking, Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adioye Aribasoye, commended the efforts of Governor Oyebanji in putting Ekiti in a right path.
The document will enable us to consolidate on achievement as government, to complete all ongoing programs and projects, and provide the required infrastructure for the economic transformation of our towns and communities across the state. I especially appreciate and commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and his team for the economic reforms that have been embarked upon to correct the structural problems. These reforms have significantly improved the revenue accruing to the states from federation accounts in the past year. We expect this enhanced revenue flow to continue in and beyond 2025, and it can get better if we're able to quickly put behind us the tax reform bill, because it's going to free more resources to all the sectors. I hereby appeal to Nigeria to support the tax reform bill because it is in our interest as a nation.
This budget is a vital tool for driving development, creating opportunities, and ultimately improving lives. The legislative arms plays an essential role in ensuring that the budget mirrors the priorities and needs of our constituents. We are stewards of public resources, charged with the responsibility of ensuring that every naira is spent wisely and effectively.
And that's all from the local scene. Up next is stories from the foreign scene. Please stay tuned. This is MITV Primetime News. Now to the foreign scene. Kenya police forcibly detained dozens of demonstrators and senators Monday, firing tear gas into small firing tear into small peaceful rallies protesting recent alleged abductions that have enraged the country. Security forces in the East African nation have been accused of carrying out dozens of illegal detentions since youth-led anti-government demonstrations in June and July. The latest disappearances have primarily involved young people who have criticized President William Ruto online, with right group dismissing police denials of involvement and calling for action. Scores of protesters rallied in the capital Nairobi on Monday, some brandishing images of those who had disappeared, calling for their release and an end to the alleged abductions. Tributes have been pouring both within the United States and the world at large after American President Jimmy Carter, the oldest living president of the United States, died at 100. No cause of death was immediately given, although Carter spent almost 2 years under hospice care at his home after being treated for a form of skin cancer. He celebrated his 100th birthday at his home in October. President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump have led tributes to the late Nobel Peace Prize winner. Biden announced that a national day of mourning would take place on 9th of January and ordered flags to be flown at half-mast at all public and military buildings for 30 days, a period which includes the inauguration of President-elect Trump. Trump posted on Truth Social, and I quote, "The challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude." End of quote.
Amount of good memories. Today, America and the world, in my view, lost a remarkable leader. He was a statesman and humanitarian. And Jill and I lost a dear friend. I've been hanging out with Jimmy Carter for over 50 years, it dawned on me. And I had countless conversations over those years. Just look at his life's work. He worked to eradicate disease, not just at home, but around the world. He forged peace, advanced civil rights, human rights, promoted free and fair elections around the world. He built housing for the homeless with his own hands. And his compassion and moral clarity lifted people up and changed lives and saved lives all over the globe.
Israeli forces on Monday continued to pound Gaza a day after attacks that killed 30 people, including 7 in an assault on Al-Wafa Hospital in Gaza City. The nearby Halley Hospital was also shelled. Gaza's government media office says a significant cold front will affect the strip in the coming hours and days amid reports that a 5th baby has died from hypothermia. During the attack on Al-Wafa Hospital, several people were burned and at least 7 Palestinians were martyred. Earlier on Friday, the Zionist military set fire to Kamal Adwan Hospital and took the hospital director.
To provide accurate and reliable information, Hamas does the opposite. In Gaza, there is no such thing as freedom of speech, freedom of press, or freedom of expression. Hamas controls every piece of information released from Gaza. Last night, when Hamas announced that Israel attacked a hospital in Gaza, too many people around the world not only believed them, but amplified Hamas lies. Open your eyes and see the true face of Hamas. Hamas carried out a massacre on innocent Israelis. Hamas hides behind Gazans, using them as human shields. Hamas steals humanitarian aid from the UN in Gaza to fuel its terror. The last 12 days revealed the truth about Hamas, their brutal terror, their cynical lies, their disregard for human life in Israel and in Gaza. Hamas is a threat to the people of Israel, the people of Gaza, and the entire region. Therefore, we will fight Hamas for the sake of Israel.
South Korea's acting leader has ordered an emergency safety inspection of the country's entire airline operations a day after 179 people were killed in the deadly plane crash on its soil. The Jeju airplane burst into flames as it crash landed in South Korea's Muan International Airport, killing everyone on board save for 2 victims. Acting President Choi Sang-mong has asked investigators into the incident to promptly disclose their findings to bereaved families. This request also comes as another Jeju Air flight turned back to Seoul shortly after takeoff on Monday due to an unidentified landing gear issue. And that's all we have for you tonight from the foreign scene. We'll go on a quick break to bring you sport updates. Welcome back. You're still watching MI7 Primetime News. Now to sport update. AC Milan sacked coach Paulo Fonseca on Monday with the Italian giant failing to maintain a consistent push for Champions League places in Serie A. A statement from the club reads that Paulo Fonseca has been relieved from his duties as head coach of the men's first team. The result left the 7-time European champions in 8th place in the Serie A table, 14 points adrift of joint leaders Atalanta and Napoli. Milan sit 12th in the 36-team Champions League table, having lost 2 and won 4 of their 6 matches. Liverpool winger Mohamed Salah says he's far away from signing a new deal at the Premier League club. The 32-year-old Salah is out of contract at the end of the season and will enter negotiations with non-English clubs on 1st January over a free transfer once his deal expires. The Egyptian scored his 20th goal of the season as Liverpool beat West Ham 5-0 at the London Stadium on Sunday to extend their lead at the top of the table to 8 points. Asked about his future following the victory, Salah said he and the rest are far away from a new contract, adding that the only thing on his mind is Liverpool to win the league. Barcelona's hope of registering Dani Olmo for the second half of the season have received a boost after they secured the $104 million deal. As 2024 draws to a conclusion, Olmo and Barca teammate Paul Victor do not have guaranteed first-team registration from January 2025, but report says the Blaugrana reached an agreement to sell VIP boxes at the newly renovated Camp Nou to Middle Eastern investors for $100 million. Olmo only joined Barca in August for a fee worth up to $54 million from RB Leipzig, but after a worth up to $64 million. But after a judge rejected Barca's attempt to register him, they sought other avenues to get the deal done. The report added that the cash injection will allow the registration of both players. Talking tennis, 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka made a winning straight set start to a season Monday as she strives to rediscover the form that took her to world number 1. The 27-year-old Japanese star put in a solid performance at the Auckland Classic to overcome Israel's Lena Gloshko, ranked 221, 6'4", 6'4". The Japanese star has struggled for consistency since returning to the court a year ago after the bet of Dr. Shai in July 2023. And Igor Jose Alexander led the Oklahoma City Thunder with 35 points, helping them secure a commanding 130-106 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. The win extended their streak to 11 games as the Thunder took control in the second quarter, turning a close game into a decisive win. Gilgeous Alexander's performance included shooting 14 of 19 from the field along with 7 assists and 4 blocks. Jalen Williams nearly achieved a triple-double, contributing 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Ajay Mitchell added 17 points. And that's all we have for you tonight from the Primetime News. Many thanks for watching. My name is Teresa Ateyemi. Do have a great night. Good night.